Now, and this is the nice part about keeping the back off, I can get access to this right off the bat. Set a 1/2 inch piece in because that's going to keep us clear of our heads of the bolts that we put in. Come around to the front. Extend that out just that little bit. Bring the drawer box in place. Set it between the two sliders. That'll give it a nice cradle there. Pull that out and line it up like so. On this side, again, flush to the front. Reverse it over. There, that's how simple it is to build that drawer. Now, the second drawer, well, is a little different. And not much as far as dimensions and size go, but because of the construction of it. I need an empty space in the center here to accommodate this elbow with the flange on it, and that elbow now has to fit down through. If I didn't utilize that drawer in there, I would have extra space wasted, so why not take the best of it as you can? What I did was, same design, same box design, but I've taken the back and moved it forward. I've put these cutouts in here for two reasons. Number one, you can reach in, and number two, you can use a long extension bit and screw the face of the drawer on as well. The extra side pieces, well, I've just dropped them down slightly just for a different contour so that it matches and also gives me a nice sort of big area to do some more storage. Now, if you notice, this whole piece is solid. I still have a whole bottom on here as well. And I want to cut this out because I want this little section in the middle here cut out so that I can actually get at the clamp that's going to hold the pipe onto the elbow itself. And by doing that, I'm going to do that on the table saw. What I'll do then is I'll drop the blade down into the table. And as I turn it on, I'll bring it up and curve cut through. Now, there will be an overcut on either side, but you won't see that. It'll be very slight. The next thing I want to do then is set up the fence from this side to here and start cutting out this portion. So when it's all done, this will be a clear open cavity to accommodate that elbow. There. Now it's time to add our drawer faces. What I've done here is I found the opening that I had there, and I reduced it by 1/4 inch from top to bottom and 1/4 inch from sides. And that's going to give me a nice 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Then what I did was I cut it down the middle on this table saw so that the curve cut is also 1/8 of an inch, so it gives me nice displacement all the way through. First thing I want to do here, though, is I want to clean these up and sand them and take off those rough edges. Now I'm going to attach the faces by using a pocket hole screw through the back of the drawer and into the face. Now it comes time to add the door. Now the door has really been one full piece, but I cut the bottom piece off for this little spacer in here. And all that does is it covers up that side piece where the 45-degree angle is showing. On top of that now, when I put the door in place, I'm going to raise it up about 1/8 of an inch because as the dust collection is on, I want a draft to come through here and I want it to pull down across the 45-degree angle top here and go right down into the hole. That'll keep that cavity clearer from all those chips. Now I've used a concealed hinge on here. The reason is it allows me to get in nice and tight so then I can also do some adjustments back and forth because inside here, and the top, there'll be some weather stripping to try and keep as much of the air from leaking in except for that one spot right there. Now that the door is in place, I've also included a little stop here, and that stop is just preventing the door from going through. So when it closes, you've got a nice flat surface. Again, the 1/8 of an inch space here for the air to draw through, and it gives it a really good finished look. From here, it's the back that finally goes on. Laying the cabinet down on its face is easier to attach to the back. What I've done is I set the back in place, lined it up at the bottom first, where I put in 2 screws to square off the bottom. Then going over to the side that, if you find there's a little irregularity or it might be out a bit, go to the side that is proud and push it and line it up so that it comes square to the actual back itself. Then continue with pocket hole screws and attach the back securely to the entire unit. Never use glue in this application. The reason not to use glue is that should it have to come apart for any repairs, it's easier to take the back off and work from the back end and the front end and giving you accessibility to all the cavities, drawers, and inserts. Using a number 8 pocket hole screw, coarse thread for this project. Well, no, not just yet. It's not time to put the top on. But what I want to talk about is a couple of things on the cabinet base itself. Well, number 1 is putting the hole in here for the cord to actually go through from the router. Because you want to make sure that's as airtight as possible too. You don't want a big hole in the end so that the big plug has to go through, because again, it just reduces the amount of volume that we're going to create in this box. By putting this rubber adhesive down, the rubber sponge here, and put it all around the inside of the box. And I've put spacers out here so that what it does is it distributes the weight of the tabletop itself when it sits down there and keeps it nice and level. On the inside, what I've done is I've taken another type of weather stripping. It's a plastic type like this. Folds over, and it's an adhesive back that sticks on. And all that does now is it fills the cracks on either side of the door. And with an additional piece, once this is all assembled, I'll put a piece like this underneath on the counter or under the top itself, and when the door closes, it'll make a tight seal across the top as well. The only place I want to draw here is at the bottom. I want that air to come through there so it falls over, cascades over the 45-degree side here, and into the hole to keep that cavity clear. The next piece I want to do is I want to put in little clips. And I'm going to put little L brackets like this in, 2 here, 2 on the side, and 2 on the other side. On the inside only, so that I can also pull the top down and add a little support as well, so it's secured to the box itself. By taking the top, it goes 1 inch to the front, 1 inch to the back, and 3 inches off either side. Once that's done, insert plate goes in, and you're ready to router. Now over here, this is my prototype. This is what I worked off. And remember, we talked about the cabinet. The cabinet will suit any type of router, any type of tabletop, so that you can actually make this with no problem at all. The downside to some of the routers is that usually what happens is when you have a solid surface top like this and it doesn't lift, you can't get underneath and you're going to have to fight back and forth to change your bits. Well, guess what? This one here doesn't have that problem. The router lift actually comes up, and it comes up far enough that I can work on it from the surface. I don't have to work on it from below. So if you don't have a router lift, well, not to worry about that either, because I've come up with another design of table that when you look at this one, again, this is screwed into the surface. That top is there, and to change this bit normally, I would have to reach underneath and work on it from here. No, this is the way this one works. With 2 lid stays, I'm able to bring this up, lock it in place, and here's my router. No bending down, no trying to find out where everything is in that little dark hole there. Undo it, bring it down, work on my bit, change it, replace it, push it back up, and now I can also look down here, this plane, and see where my router bit is, and if I'm trying to match up to a profile, I just bring the profile in, match it up, lock it in place, close the lid, and I'm ready to go. And that's how easy it is to build a router table cabinet. With the K2000 KREG jig, you can build joints faster, stronger, and simpler. In my opinion, everyone should have one of these in their workshop. For more information or to find your local KREG tool dealer, visit www.kregtool.com or call 1-800-447-8638.